I remember one of my mentors in business would always say, like, build community first, commerce second, like always. And he used to say it and I was like, oh, that sounds good. Like, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's one of those statements. But it was like, it's so true.
It is.
That's not just smart or strategic. Actually, what it is it's real. Because when you deeply get to know people's stories, your heart expands, your vision expands, right? Like, you don't become someone who's just trying to sell something anymore because you have a community first. See, if you start with commerce, you're basically thinking, are we hitting our numbers? Are we selling stuff? Is stuff being shipped, right? That's what you're thinking about.
Yep.
When you start with community first, like you have, you start hearing people's stories. You start hearing people's backgrounds. You hear about people's challenges. And then your brand becomes full of compassion and empathy and love and care, as opposed to being about numbers and stats and analytics.
Even when you say that, it makes my like heart just like feel so good, because like I had so many tough times this past year. It was so many lows of thinking and again, doubting yourself. Like it was a complete shift, right? Like I went, and for me, I never like dreamt of being a beauty influencer, but I always dreamt of this beauty brand happening. So the pressure was like 10x. And I felt like, oh my God, like this is what I've wanted since I was 16. It's happening and you have to do it right. But I had to get out of my own head and go back to the same scrappy mentality I had when I first started that YouTube video using my iPhone. Is you just have to start. You just have to start. And I'll tell you, like during those low times, it was literally this community that got me through it, because I would read their comments and they'd be like, keep going. Thank you so much. You're changing my life. You're making me feel beautiful with who I am. And when you see those comments, like literally when you're working at 1 a.m. and you're like sitting there on your laptop and it's a Saturday night, that is the energy you need to say, this is why you're doing something. And I think that purpose-driven aspect of not just a beauty brand, just building a business it equals longevity.
100%.
Because we're human. There's a real emotion that goes into it. And I think like, at least for me personally, and I don't know, this could be one of my weaknesses as a CEO, but I feel like I have empathy in building this business, and it sometimes is like not a good thing, but it's who I am. And I don't know if that'll go away, but I can't help but care.
Yeah.
And it's tough, right? Because when you're a beauty personality, I'm allowed to just be that girl. When you're running a business, you sometimes have to like shift that hat and be like, okay, like, let's think about this. Like what's going to be right for them and this and that. It's a weird balance of all of these things.
Yeah.
This is a therapy session all of a sudden, but I'm into it. I'm like, man, it's a lot.
Yeah, no, it is a lot. And that's what I think is so beautiful when I'm doing the podcast and I'm speaking to someone like yourself. It's like, you've just had so many transitions in life. And transitions are the hardest.
Yeah.
And that's why most people never have them. And that's why most people live the same day over and over and over again and call it a life, because transitions are so hard.
Yeah.